Amala Puranam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the Amal Puranam, which means ah, it is that transcendental literature which is beyond the modes. Now, the interesting point is that, so we are seeing it is the transcendental literature which is beyond the three modes of material nature. Uh, what is within the modes and what is beyond the modes? Many times we will see that so we will see that that which feeds the modes is very much within the modes. That which feeds and fans the propensities of the three modes, that is very much within the modes. And that which is a revelation of the Supreme Lord Himself is beyond the modes. Bhagavatam is non different from Krishna. Therefore, it is described that when Lord Krishna disappeared, the son of Lord Krishna disappeared, then Lord Krishna manifested in another form after winding up Krishna Lila, and that is Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam is the sun which has come to deliver the people of the Kali Yuga. So we will see that uh, so we will see that when Vedic literatures fan and feed and thereby fan and feed people's different kinds of propensities, uh, then those literatures are very much within the modes because and they may slowly try to purify. Therefore, we see there are Puranas in for people in the mode of Tamogun, Rajugun, and Satugun. So, what these Puranas do is that they will feed and fan these propensities of the people in three modes, and then gradually purify them and bring them to the level of elevated consciousness. But Srimad Bhagavatam is a different creation altogether because Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna's personal revelation. And therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam is the manifestation of Krishna himself. And that is why Bhagavatam can be worshipped as a deity. Just like the holy name can be worshipped as a deity, similarly, Bhagavatam can also be worshipped as a deity. But the prescribed process of worshipping Bhagavatam is uh, through our intelligence, by imbibing and assimilating, accepting, imbibing, assimilating, and following the devotees of the Lord from the acharyas, then that goes beyond the modes. That is why we will see in the yoga ladder also, among all the yoga systems, the Bhakti Yoga system is the topmost. Why? Because Bhakti Yoga directly operates from beyond the modes. When I want to do what I want to do, then I am not beyond the modes. So I may be on a track in which I may purify my propensity slowly, But that track is not beyond the modes. I am very much within the modes. And that is why that path is called as Karma Yoga, not Bhakti. That also Sakam Karma Yoga. And then first one has to become from Sakam to Nishkam. Now, that is the elevation. That is the elevation from mode of passion to a mode of goodness. And then from Nishkam, Karma Yoga, then one can further advance to Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga is all about the readiness to accept the revelations from the Lord and the Acharyas. The hallmark of Srimad Bhagavatam we can see. The Srimad Bhagavatam is revealing Krishna, but very interesting to understand how Srimad Bhagavatam reveals Krishna. The how Srimad Bhagavatam is revealing the Supreme Lord Krishna, that is very beautiful and very nice to understand. Srimad Bhagavatam is revealing Krishna how? Srimad Bhagavatam actually reveals the hearts of the various devotees and Mahabhagavats. And therefore, you will see one of the key sections in Srimad Bhagavatam is the prayers of the Acharyas. So in that sense, we will see. Now, when we say that the Vaishnav Songbook is one of the most important instructions of that the Acharyas have given us, then we say, okay, the postgraduate level studies of spiritual life is Bhagavatam, and then the doctoral studies is Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the postdoctoral studies is the Vaishnav songs. Srimad Bhagavatam is not much different from Vaishnav songs, if you see. Because the key sections in Srimad Bhagavatam are the prayers of the Acharyas. But Srimad Bhagavatam reveals on what is the state of the heart, how these prayers how and what is the basis of these prayers, and then they show the life and the struggle of the acharyas, and then the prayers like prayers of Kunti Maharani or prayers of Prahlad Maharaj, Bhishma Dev, so Dhruva Maharaj, Brahmaji. These prayers are very beautiful and very amazing. So in that sense, we see that the Lord is revealed, and so the Lord is revealed. So the Lord reveals himself through the pastimes, through his pastimes, and therefore the Lord takes various incarnations. And all these incarnations are mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. That is one way in which the Lord is revealed by Srimad Bhagavatam. The Lord is also revealed from the heart of the devotees. That's another revelation, which also Bhagavatam is giving in profuse quantities, which forms the hallmark of Srimad Bhagavatam. So in this way, we can understand that that yes, Krishna is revealed very much through the heart of the devotees, through the heart of the devotees, and that's why it is, and that is why we see that this is transcendental. So it is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam that you see the nature of this material world is that it is hollow and empty. So therefore, because the material world is empty, therefore any amount of endeavors practically empty. There is a very thin film of pleasure. But for all practical purposes, it's empty. So now now because the material world is empty, therefore any amount of endeavors in this material world will increase the agitation, the illusion, the agony. That's all. So persons now, what if one endeavors more? So the straight equation is endeavor, more agitation, frustration, depression. So why? Because the material world, as the Acharyas and the Shastras explain, is not the right place. The material world is the perverted reflection. So so that is why. So therefore, in the material world, living, surviving in this material world, one will become more and more morose, more and more agitated, more and more restless, more and more loaded with uh, vices. See, it is just like banging one's head against a rock. So the rock will not break, the head will break. That is the point. So, uh, so the rock is not going to break, the head will break. One cannot find, so that is because that is what this material world is all about. Therefore, what the living entity, what the jiva soul needs in his or her life is to come in contact with Krishna. As long as there are rocks and stones around, a person cannot satisfy his hunger. But if there are trees and plantations, very easily one can satisfy his hunger. So Shrimad Bhagavatam is like a beautiful, beautiful orchard where there are so many varieties of fruits and vegetables, and one can relish and flowers. So one can have complete satisfaction for all the senses. So therefore, we see that each of the acharyas, their realizations. So the acharya's life is like a beautiful flower garden, wherein we can see the aroma of sweetness, that transcendental aroma, which is not seen in this material world. This material world, there is stinking stench of lust and greed and envy, and these are horrible stench. And that is what this material world is, a stinking place, stinking with envy, stinking with greed, stinking with lust, and therefore very difficult to go to any area only. People, everywhere there is this stench of dust, lust and envy and like that. But the Acharya's lives are like a beautiful flower garden, which has such an intoxicating aroma. One may just want to be there. And so their lives are like that because their lives are full with struggles and not to serve and please Krishna. And that Krishna's smile and that Krishna's pleasure, fills their whole life. That means with such an intoxicating, heavenly, not transcendental aroma. So that is what these acharyas' lives are, and their realizations are like fruits, what they are giving us, and we can taste those fruits. The realizations are giving us fruits, and we can taste those fruits, and those fruits have so much nourishment. Those fruits have so much of juice and so much of nectar. Just like mothers always tell their children drink milk and drink fruits. Is it not? That's why you see Gita is described as milk. Who is Shankaracharya describes Bhagavad Gita as milk? सर्व उपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनंदनः पार्थो वेद सुधीर भोक्ता पिबतम गीतामृतम महत्. So Sripad Shankaracharya is explaining if all the Vedic literatures are like a cow, and the milk is Bhagavad Gita. But who is the milkman? The Krishna is a milkman. But who is the calf? The Arjuna is a calf. Partha Veda, Sudhir Bhokta. Arjuna as a calf. So using the calf, the Lord Krishna is milking the very milk of from the Vedas. So we will see. So therefore, you see, we see the Acharya's realizations are also like this milk and fruits. Now we see all mothers, they keep telling their children, even after they have gone to the hospital, okay, please keep taking milk and fruits every day and all that. Why? Because that gives health. And that gives health. That gives nourishment. The person becomes very healthy and immune to all the problems of, to all the infections in this world. Similarly, we see the Acharya's realizations, their prayers, that is like the fruits, that is like fruits and milk for us. So that is why it is being said here. There, so So whereas the material world is a desert, or no, stinking, dirty desert, uh, uh, yeah, the Srimad Bhagavatam presents to us a beautiful orchard where there are these no, aroma of intoxicating flowers, and there is this nectarine, nourishing fruits all around, and one can become ecstatic. At the same time, one gets nourishment. That is food for the soul. And this is what Srimad Bhagavatam is presenting to all of us. That is why Srimad Bhagavatam is the message of Srimad Bhagavatam can bring about liberation for the living entity. Because see, why liberation? Because we see that in these transcendental codes of Srimad Bhagavatam, see, just like uh, so in this material world, we see that the modes lock us. What do we lock? The modes basically lock our thought process. Now, the modes are basically locking our thought process. So our thought process becomes restricted. So therefore, a person in mode of ignorance can only think destructive. A person in mode of passion can only think about self-obsession, and a person in mode of goodness uh, uh, can think a little bit more. So towards certain values, certain can think towards certain kind of values and like that. But each of these modes, even the mode of goodness is locked. How the mode of goodness is locked? Because there is a sense of the mode of goodness brings about a sense of knowledge and a sense of happiness. The sense of happiness brings about complacency. The sense of knowledge brings about pride. And both of them take one to mode of passion and then ignorance, straight highway from there. So that's why the nature of mode of goodness is to bring a person down slowly to passion and ignorance. So that's the nature of mode of goodness. So therefore, all of them actually lock our consciousness. Now the point is this: and all these locks are number locks. Yeah? Just like sometimes they show a big tijori, and that tijori has a vault and it has a lot of codes like that. And if you can type the right code, the vault of the treasury will open. All the treasure is there for the person, like that. But so that lock, that password or the passcode or that number lock, So the passcode is now the point is the messages of Bhagavatam give this passcode, wherein and because of this, actually the locks and the gates of the modes get opened up, and one's consciousness is able to expand. That is why the person following sincerely bhakti yoga does not require any gradual elevation, and that is why there is no much consideration about what modes one was lurking in before coming to Krishna consciousness. Whatever are the modes, they are all locks and gateways which have constricted one's consciousness. But if you know the passcode, the locks are open, then one doesn't have to go through any ladder process because the walls are, no, the doors are open. There is no ladder required now. There is no gradual process required now. Directly one can be liberated. That is why Prabhupada says Bhakti, the process of Bhakti, one can be liberated. 1 minute, one can be liberated. It's all a matter of accepting and holding on to it, to these transcendental messages. So we can see these transcendental messages as the passcodes which actually open up these vaults of the modes. So the person is immediately able to expand one's consciousness and get out of it. That is why the messages of Bhagavatam are most liberating. And therefore we can see the Bhagavatam is the ultimate panacea for this world. That means the Bhagavatam gives a solution to all the maladies of people in this world, actually. So the more we relish, the more we cherish, the more we distribute, the more it can bring about a revolution in the world. That is the transcendental power of Srimad Bhagavatam. So let us stop here for today. Hari Bol. Anantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.